Hey everybody, sorry about that first stream. Hopefully this one will work out better. But yeah, so yeah, we've had another, we had that eruption earlier, and I did that video last night. You guys hear my dog? Hey Puka, hey. Give me 1 second, guys. Sorry. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Yeah, real life happens around my house, But can somebody give me a 5 for 5 here? And, we'll get going. I do apologize for the delay. Was not intentional, that's for sure. Okay, let's see what we got. Oh, good morning, everybody. I know... Sorry about this. The first one earlier was just, yeah. Just a mess. Anyway, so we got this going on, and this is that eruption I showed you guys yesterday. Let's go ahead and roll with this and see what we get. Alright, let's do this. Okay. I'm curious, can you guys see my cursor? Probably not. Man, I don't know what the heck's going on with that. I must have hit a setting somewhere. Alright. Anyway, it's not hard to see. So you got that right there, right? And, last night when I did the live stream last night, I talked about, is this thing going to hit? Well... I don't think it's going to directly hit us. I do think it's probably going to be a glancing blow type of thing. And I'll show you why. But this thing was a filament, man, and this thing blew off there moving so freaking fast. I even mentioned that. I told you guys I didn't know how fast yet, but it really looked like it was moving quick. And it is. It's moving over 3 million miles per hour. It's actually closer to 4 million miles per hour. So, yeah, I know, Hilly. I'm sorry, man. But yeah, so what do we look at here? Well, I said it was long duration, right? Check that out. Look at that slow slope from that eruption. We're talking 3, 6, 9 hours before it went completely away. And that that's a long one, guys. So when it's doing that, it's just pumping out X-ray. It has a chance of putting more plasma out there. Basically more chances of CME type of stuff coming. But here's where it gets interesting. Okay? This coronal hole, in my opinion, is going to play a critical part in whether or not this thing hits us. It could draw it closer to us, or it could push it away. I've talked about this before. That's a hole in the corona, the atmosphere of the sun. And the surface is dark colored on this imaging because it's colder on the surface than it is in the atmosphere. But with that given, it's plasma, right? It has a charge. So if the stream coming out of this coronal hole is negative, and the CME, that the filament and the plasma over here popped off and it's got a positive charge, what happens? They draw to each other. So to actually pull it closer to us. Now, the opposite is also true if you got negative against negative or positive against positive. So this is going to, and there's really no way to tell until it really does get closer. But what I will say, with it moving 4 million miles per hour, or close to it anyway, I'm just going to say, be conservative and say 3 million miles per hour. With that being said, man, You know, it's going to get here in 2 days. So, if it does hit, okay? And I do want to stress that. There's no guarantee this thing's going to hit. In my opinion, I don't think it's going to give us a direct hit, but I do think it's going to give us a glancing blow. And what it does at that point, I don't know. It will be moving fast. And that's something that we have to pay attention to. That's one of the factors we look at if we're talking about getting a really decent hit from a CME at any time. We look at density. We look at the polarity, like I just said. We look for -6 on the BZ. Okay, the red line there at the top. And we look for speed. Those are the 3 things that are really important to get a good grasp on how something's really going to hit. Okay, now they're not forecasting this thing to hit yet on the 29th. They haven't forecasted out to the 30th yet, but that very well could be coming. I don't know. And this model may show this thing missing us, but I don't think that's the case. I really don't, and let me show you why. Okay, so Seeds has updated, and their CME tracking is actually working too. So that's good, because this gives us a really good look at this now. I wasn't able to show you guys this last night because it just wasn't there. So let me... that's not the one I want. Let's go down to this one. It's the same CME, just this one's here. It's earlier on in the CME. Okay, so what I want to point out, guys, obviously you guys can see that. That is definitely something that is significantly big, right? It's not a little baby, a little chump, little freaking ICME. That is a CME. There's a lot of plasma with that, and it's moving fast. So, but like I said yesterday, with the position where it erupted, it doesn't seem like it's going to come right at us. But if you look at the shadow, look at the gray areas, okay? We always look for a halo signature, right? And we got to remember, this satellite is from our perspective. It's as if we walked outside and looked up at the sun. That's what this perspective is. This satellite's about 1 million miles closer to the sun. So let me zoom in a little bit, and we'll get you guys a better look at that shaded area. You can kind of see the gray area. You got black, white, and then you got the gray area kind of giving us a little bit of a halo. Now, how much? I don't know. Again, it's one of those things that's going to be determined a lot by that coronal hole and the polarity of what we've got going on here. I really truly think so. So that means it could hit us or it could miss us completely. That's really what that means. Okay? So, yeah. So if I go forward there, you see that? You see how it even spread out even further as this went further and further around? So, yeah. And the other thing we got to pay attention to, we're going to be having that coronal hole stream hit us too at the same time. These things could actually combine. And I wouldn't say like become one, because there'll be like a shock front in between the two. It's like a snowplow effect. You know, the coronal hole stream will be out there in the front, and then the CME will be behind it pushing all those particles. And it just rolls it up like a plow does with snow. And when that hits, that's a high dense hit, moving fairly quickly typically. Because you got the CME behind it moving faster than what's in front of it. So it pushes things along, and when it hits, we basically get like a double hit. You get the coronal hole stream, you get the shock from in between, and then you get a triple hit, then you get the CME itself hitting you. So there's a whole lot of stuff going on here. And again, this is not going to be a direct hit, but I do think that this has a chance of giving us a glancing blow. What kind of chance? You know, at this point, I would be inclined to say like 50-50. Nothing more. Plasma plow. Good one, Cheryl. I like that. Have to use that from now on. Good one. Thank you, Stephanie. I appreciate that. So just keep that in mind whenever you're looking at this stuff. And this is stuff that I had to learn too, guys. So, and I say this a lot. You guys can understand this. You really can. And I mentioned yesterday, if you're a journalist, they teach you to write at a 6th grade level if you're going to be putting it in like a normal newspaper. There's a reason for that. You don't want to try to talk over somebody's head. I believe that every one of you guys, and myself included, can understand the big vocabulary words, but do we really want to walk around talking like that? Probably not. You know, unless it's just normal to you. Then if it's normal, it's not really big words, right? So I'm using normal vocabulary to describe things that, and that's why I say I'll go over to other people's channel and stuff, you know, and it's nothing against them at all. They've just been highly educated, and that's normal for them to talk like that. Me, I have not. And, you know, that's probably the only advantage I would have from not going to school for something like this. Seriously. I'm able to explain it to you guys in a way that I understand. You know what I mean? And, you know, all of us can do Google searches for vocabulary words and all that. And all of us can understand that. So let me, we'll just run this for a second here. And we'll slow that down just a touch. So that is that CME, okay? So let's back that up a minute here. And I do want to show you the ones that was on the 23rd. It's not even going to let me do it. Oh, that was stereo A. Sorry. Okay, these are the ones that actually I think gave us the geomagnetic storm yesterday. Okay, these are those ones that I came on here and told you guys, these are the big ones off the backside. Okay, there's a coronal hole. These didn't hit us, the CMEs themselves, but there was a couple smaller eruptions on the front that you couldn't hardly see. They were kind of like stealthy CMEs. So, you know, whether it was that or the smaller coronal holes that rotated through that gave us a hit here. Yeah, so whatever caused it, it caused it, and it wasn't a big deal. And by no means was it a big deal. It was not a very big geomagnetic storm at all. Matter of fact, it barely made it the first time. And then the second time it hit, you know, it went into, it almost got to a G2 for a second. How do I know that? Well, you can go to the German website. Let's see if I can't find that for you guys. Here it is. Okay. Go give them some love and go check out their site too, guys. They do a lot of good work over here. They really do. You see how detailed they get here? This is every 30 minutes they're doing plots. So if you come back here and look on the 26th, look here. It almost got, well, yeah, almost to that KP of 6, which would have been a G2. Okay? So, yeah. Hey, Mark, my brother, good to see you in here. Hey, Renee. Gosh, daggone that, shouldn't look at the stinking chat. I'm sorry, guys. Go check out Mark Pyre's channel. You won't regret it. I promise. You'll laugh and enjoy some really good music. Go check it out. Please. I'm sure Mark would appreciate it too. Yeah, he made one about the Trump train, and that was a really cool one. He did a really good job with that one. That's one of his best ones, I thought. I shared that out everywhere. My parents loved it, by the way, Mark, if you're listening to me. They really did. They really liked that one, man. You did a good job with that one. Okay, so what's this mean for us later on in the week? In the next couple days, this thing will be done and over with, but let's just pay attention here and watch, right? And also, kind of over here by this eruption, we had another, like a little channel of plasma come from the back and come across the front, just to the right of that eruption. See it right there? And it even erupted a little bit. So let's take a look at I'm going to show you guys the 94 angstrom, okay? And the reason why is because this is going to show you like a really good bam in your face type of, hey, this thing really did erupt for a good amount of time, okay? That's what you're going to see here in just a second. It's loading. Sorry, guys. So here comes the eruption, right there. And see how long that stays? You know what that looked like to me? And again, I'm going back to using words that I understand. It looked like a sparkler burning out. That's what it looked like to me. But did you see how fast that thing blasted off of there? And how it affected the rest of the sun here? It was significant, guys. That was a significant one. I do think, I'm not saying it was SHTF type of stuff. Because I don't really think it was. I think it would have been a G3 probably, if it would have hit us directly. Possibly a little bigger, maybe, with the speed of it. It's moving fast. Okay? So, yeah, you can kind of see that. And you got plasma rain with that also. But yeah, so let's take a look at one more angstrom here. I'll show you the 211. Because you'll be able to, well, you know what? I showed you guys the 211 earlier. Let's look at the 171 because you'll be able to see the atmosphere of the sun really get moved. Watch right here. Well, it's got to load first. Sorry, guys. I am sorry about that first live stream. I tried to go, but it just wouldn't let me. I actually started it and ended up having to go back and delete it because it just would not let me. You guys see that? I mean, come on now. Come on now. Don't do that to me. All right, let's do that again. Let's go ahead and zoom in just a touch. How about that? Okay, watch to the left. Watch the atmosphere here. The corona. Look at all that moving. Something else I found really, really interesting. If you look over here, top left, I wish my cursor was here. Daggone, I gotta fix that. You'll see like a solar tornado, and it's like a wide tornado. See that? Right at the base of that eruption. See that, how it's kind of spinning? So, yeah, I do think that this may have had an Earth-directed component to it, guys. I really do. It's got a chance, is what I'm saying. So, but I told you guys I wanted to give you an update, and that's what I just did for you. If anything else happens with this, I'll definitely be back out here telling you about it. Check out that solar tornado on the top there. Look at that thing. Yeah, I mean, we got lots of stuff going on here. Now, remember, sunspot production's way down. So this is just another way to show you guys the sun can do what it wants, when it wants, and how it wants to do it. And that's just the God's honest truth there, guys. That's all I can say about that, really. I mean, we could come out here and try to say we know everything about everything. No, we don't. We don't. Somebody wants to try to tell you they know everything and don't want to listen to what you have to say, I would be highly suspect of how much information I got from people like that. Because they only do that because they don't want you listening to somebody else. Because they're afraid that what somebody else says doesn't agree with them. And when people disagree with people like that, that really affects them. People can disagree with me all day long. I really don't care. I actually learned from that, to be honest with you. I will listen to what they're saying, and sometimes I change my mind because of what they say. You know? So, I don't have to be right. I just have to come out here and tell you when I'm wrong. That is the true measure of somebody that's trying to do the thing for the right reason. So remember that, guys, when you're listening to anybody. You know, and I hate to say it like this, but Mr. Critical Update, y'all know who I'm talking about. Yeah. I'll just leave it at that. Y'all draw your own conclusions on all that. So, but anyway, that is what's happening. And, so,